Welcome back to Marcus English Stories channel. Today, I tell the story of Nikola Tesla, a man who loved ideas and worked for a better future. Nikola was born in a small village called Smiljan. This place was in the world of many changes, and the time was the middle of the 1800s. His family spoke Serbian, and they lived under a large empire. Nikola's father was a priest, and his mother was a woman who made tools at home and knew many folk stories and small inventions. As a child, Nikola liked to read and to see how things moved. He could remember long stories and numbers easily. He watched storms and lightning with great wonder. When he was a boy, he saw a machine that moved with steam. He thought a lot about power and motion. Nikola grew tall and thin, and he liked to work alone sometimes. He had a strong mind and a clear view of how machines could work. He learned many languages in school, so he could read many books. At age of study, he went to a technical school in a city called Graz. There, he saw machines and electrical ideas closely. He learned about a new type of electric power that moved back and forth. This power was not the same as the power that the first factories used. Many people used direct current that moved in one direction, but Nikola saw a better way for many uses. After school, he worked in machines in different cities. He fixed and improved small motors, and he thought about a big change for cities and factories. In the 1880s, he left Europe and went to the United States. He came with a small bag and big hope. In New York, he met people with money and people with new factories. He worked for Thomas Edison for a short time, but they had different ideas about how to make electricity for the world. Edison used direct current and wanted many small plants close to the people. Nikola believed in alternating current, a power that could travel far with less energy lost. This idea could light many homes from one central place and change the modern city. Nikola did not only think. He drew many designs and he built motors and coils and ways to send power on wires. He made a motor that used the changing flow of alternating current, and this motor could turn with power that came from far away. To many people, this was a small miracle. He also made a device that could lift strong waves of voltage and show bright sparks of electricity. This device, called a coil by engineers, made light and sound and helped people see in a new way how energy could be shaped. When the world saw his work, some men with money and skill came to help. George Westinghouse, a man who made electric machines, believed in Nikola's idea and helped to build a system of alternating current in many places. With their work, large fairs and cities used Nikola's system to light streets and power machines. His patents and ideas led to new factories, new theaters, and safer and more open streets at night. But not all people liked change. A famous fight of ideas grew between fans of direct current and fans of alternating current. Some people used fear to talk against the new system. Yet the new system proved strong and useful, and soon more cities used it for power. Nikola was not just a man of machines, he was a man of visions. He thought power could be sent without wires in the future. He imagined a world where ships and homes could use power with no cable, and people could talk to each other from far away with wireless waves. He played with light and high-frequency sound and sent signals with small sparks across small boxes in his lab. Later, others used similar ideas to build radio and wireless communication. At times, people argued about who first made radio work, but Nikola had clear ideas about wireless waves and he worked on them early. He built small remote devices and used waves to move models and toys without direct contact. This was a neat step toward remote control and many small modern tools. Nikola also enjoyed making light in new ways. He showed glowing tubes that could shine with a soft light and make new signs and displays. He worked on early forms of X-ray study with light and high-speed forms of energy. He liked to imagine large machines that could do quiet work without many moving parts. He designed a type of turbine that used smooth motion, not many blades, and he wrote about a world that used clean and efficient power for many uses. But life for a man of bright thought is not only success. Money and social life can be hard to control. Nikola was not a good manager of his money. He made agreements and sold rights to his ideas, but often he gave up money to help others or to keep his experiments moving. He had many friends, but he also had strange habits. He liked to work at night, and he loved pigeons in the city parks. He cared for one white pigeon in a special way. He never married, and he did not want a family home like many other men of his time. He liked to walk a lot and to feed birds and to think about far ideas. In one part of his life, he asked a rich man to help build a very large tower at the edge of the sea. The plan was to make a tall structure where power could be created and sent without wires to many places, and where people could get signals from far away. A banker named J.P. Morgan gave some money at first, but then the support stopped. The work went slow and the tower was never finished. This event made Nikola sad, but he never forgot his plan that power could be shared in new ways. He moved from one lab to another. He worked in big buildings and small rooms. He had helpers and students, and he spoke to other scientists in the city and in far nations. He wrote many letters and patents, and he was always drawing new machines on paper. People loved his talk, and they came to see the light shows with bright sparks and silent lamps. He became a public figure for his strange and smart performances. Children and adults came to see him show a bulb that glowed in his hand while he held it near high sparks. The press wrote stories about him, and he became a name known across oceans. But fame and trouble can mix. Nikola had many friends in the scientific world, but he also had fights with other inventors and businessmen who wanted money or control. He sometimes sold a right, and later he felt regret. He gave some of his patent rights to Westinghouse so the system of alternating current could grow faster. This act helped the world, but it did not give him the money he might have had if he had kept the rights. Nikola's life in the later years saw less money and more search for meaning. He kept thinking about how to help the whole Earth with power that was free or cheap. He wrote about a system that could protect nations against attack from the air, with a type of beam that could stop ships or planes at a far distance. Today, people call this idea a directed energy beam, but then it was a plan on paper and in the mind. He also thought about how waves in the air could bring news and music and words to homes, and this did become a real thing later with radio and broadcast. Nikola's work left many traces. He had many patents and many ideas that others used to make new tools. Light that is bright and silent, engines that turn with alternating current, and devices that use high-frequency energy all show his thought. He inspired engineers and young students to think large and to try new paths that the first rules did not yet make. After a long life of work and many nights in the lab, Nikola grew older and his money became smaller. He lived alone in small hotels in New York. He kept his notes and drawings safe, and he fed some pigeons in the park.
He gave interviews and he still spoke in public about new ideas when people asked. On a quiet day in January in 1943, he died in New York. The world noticed his passing, and later many books and films and stories would talk about how strange and great he was. Over time, people remembered more of what he gave, and some new names in science were put beside his name. Schools, museums, and even a unit of measurement would carry his name in honor. Young students today learn that one man with deep belief and patience can push the world forward. His story has lessons for those who learn English and for those who learn life. It shows how hard work and clear thought can change how people live, and how care for money and friends is a skill that must be learned along with the skill to make inventions. It shows that new ideas can meet fear, and that the right time and the right helpers matter for any new plan. Even when a plan fails, like the big tower, the thinking behind the plan matters later in new designs and in the new world. People remember Nikola for his bright displays, for his strong mind, and for his wish to use power in a clean way. They remember how he loved simple things, like pigeon friends and long walks, and how he kept his mind always on the next idea. His name lives in street signs and in classrooms, and in the small flash of a coil that learners still build to see the beauty of electrical force. For many years after his death, people would read his notes and test his ideas, and many new tools used a seed of his thought. The story of Nikola Tesla is not only a list of dates and machines, it is the story of a child with a bright mind who watched lightning and then grew to build machines that could move the world. It is a story of hope, of loss, of strange joy, and of the slow growth of a better light for many homes. If you listen to this tale as you learn English, you can learn new words about science and life in a simple way, and you can see that great ideas often come from watching the small wonders around us and never losing the wish to try again.